And it wasn't human technology. Most of the technologies that you think that we have did not originate in the human mind. These are technologies that have been transferred and trickled. They have technologies that are so far beyond the basis of the human mind and imagination, you can't even imagine it. And of course, a lot of these technologies also have been taken out of ancient libraries. They had electric lights 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt. Did you know that? They had batteries. And going back even further, if you look at the technology necessary to build the ancient temples like the temple in Baalbek and the ancient pyramids, they can't be built today. How could they do it? Because they had advanced scalar technology and technologies that we don't imagine because we're arrogant and think we're the most advanced culture, and we're actually just a culture right before the time that destroyed Atlantis and Lemuria back 12,000 years ago. And there were probably previous cataclysms for more arrogant peoples who thought they knew better because they had advanced toys. What's this? Where did the saucer technology? Well, it was channeled. A lot of this technology, when it was discovered, all of this was transferred to the Skunk Works, to General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, all these other corporations. The Aurora spacecraft, or the Model Ts now, they got stuff that can go sublight and beyond the speed of light. They got stuff that you can't even imagine. All of this stuff is real. And I know I've talked to the pilots, I talked to engineers that actually work on the Aurora spacecraft. They travel from 5 to 12 Mach. Then they see the speed of 17,000 miles an hour to leave Earth. And then they go sublight. Sublight speed to the moon. Okay? Mind control technologies, HARP, ELF, scalar weapons. They use these in Fallujah and Najaf. They even had a thing called a SWORD, which is a operational robot that if you didn't have your dog tags, they lock on your thermal signal and they kill you, women and children, with both lethal and non-lethal weapons. Of course, it's lethal if you die, but they call it non-lethal because you might not. They're putting in Britain a thing called these Tetris tower systems that are going to be able to lock on with your cell phones and your national ID. They're going to force the British to have so they can hit you with a microwave weapon, and the British are masters at microwave death. The British have killed more people with microwave death, and I can guarantee you that this Litvinenko was a knockoff by the British because they've been trying to overthrow the Russians because the Rothschilds that are based in London are not exactly happy with Mr. Vladimir Putin. Mr. Putin has said, I'm a Russian, and I believe that we want to have a Russian empire again. So it is an empire of clay and iron, which is why my website is called Clay and Iron, because it has strong parts and weak parts. It is the last secularis empire, the last secular empire of our world. And religion is secular because it doesn't face the reality of what we are as a being. We have cell phones like the Nokia system with directed energy to affect our minds, affect our bodies. They can cause heart attacks and strokes. Here's a picture of the main Vatican Library. That's the one above the catacombs. I know the people that were right there in Roswell. Actually transferred the bodies. Saw the technology. Saw the bars made of metal that didn't exist. Sorry, people might say, he's a nut talking about this. I don't care. I happen to be a cosmic, messianic Christian, which means I know that my God, which is a God of a billion galaxies and a billion worlds beyond the scope of anything, cares about me and about you. He's that great. And I say he, and the reason why is I don't say because of a sex, male or female, I say he because maleness means separate from the creation itself. God is beyond the creation and above the creation and looks down upon it and is beyond time and space and all dimensions. And disinformation programs are the smoke of a fire of lies and hide the true nature of contacts, all the contacts. Trickle down of release technologies from above government and transnational corporations, reverse engineering to military, and eventually distant partial civilian release. The technologies that we have is a faint shadow of the reality of what we really do have. Well, is it a physical or spiritual war? Well, it's both. A physical war is circumscribes our time-space perception of consciousness. So people always want to think of the now in terms of locality, but in fact what we are as a being is we're a non-local being. And we are the 1,000 points of light. They have appropriated that term because they are the 1,000 points of darkness. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to steal away our understanding of what we are as a being. And if you look at string theory, the lower dimensions, like the plucked strings in the body of the instrument, are all the higher dimensional planes. Photon entanglement means if you separate a photon, you can actually have in hyperspace a negentropic force, which is a hologram, actually constructs and deterministically makes matter and space and things occur. So when they did their experiments down in Montauk and they actually made their little monster, they actually created this out of hyperspace archetypes, just like when the energy is coming down from the space from the ion field and it creates the crop circles. All it is hyperspace archetypes being imprinted upon the Earth. It's not little spaceships trying to spin around and make little things so they to entertain us. They're actually seeing hyperspace archetypes translated across the dimensional void. And when there's a rent, which they can create with a nuclear or a scalar war, which is why our conflicts in our planet cannot be allowed to happen, it can have effects on a cosmic level. So we're dealing with some very, very serious things here that are well more than you can imagine. Is it a physical or a spiritual war? Well, the wall between the physical and the spiritual will disappear when we are enlightened to the true, complete nature of the singularity of universal consciousness. I'm not talking about the kind of consciousness where I don't exist anymore. I exist more because I understand what I am. And you exist more, but I also understand the connectedness of all of us because we're a corporate being. We are all part of the same being. And we literally, as all the spirit beings of the universe, we sing a song that literally creates all possible realities. And as we understand hyperdimensional physics, the nature of the universe and the interaction of consciousness and reality, reality is literally our spirit body, our bioplasmic body made of spirit water, of hyperdimensional water. So the silver cord literally moves through this collage of images that creates the nature of a timeline. And a timeline is a teaching. It's a story. It's a legend to speak to our spirit, to make us as shards of the broken mirror. So God looks back at his own face and sees a small shard of light and understands and then is able to experience himself. So the whole nature of the universe is God experiencing himself. Does that make sense? Revelation will transform our world and will make us not realize we're separate, whether it's from other human beings or other advanced life forms that exist in our galaxy. And the problem is our current religions will not stand it, which is why I've been called to speak as a prophet now. And my ancestor was one of the sons of Aaron. Our family were converted to the first church in Antioch. And my family in the first century were given a prophecy that there would be one come that would speak and say and announce the coming of Messiah HaMashiach, but not an external Messiah, because as Yeshua HaMashiach said, who was the avatar of the age of Pisces, he says, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, Elijah, Elijah, where are you? He didn't say, my God, where are you? I've forsaken you. God never forsakes anyone. If you call out to the Most High God, his spirit and your spirit, because you are one. And that's what they're trying to do with all these religions, whether it's Buddhism or Christianity or Judaism or the Kabbalah. They try to steal the identity of what you are. You are a precious, infinitely valuable reflection of the God of this universe. Whether you're a little embryo of a child about to be born, or your little child that's just been blasted with a directed energy weapon in Iraq or Afghanistan, or a Muslim trying to pray, you are a child of the Most High God, and you should be treated with that kind of level of respect.